Compliment of the season, viewers. Compliment of the season, Mr. Bassi.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott.
Christmas is on the air, and we're just celebrating, and I'm so happy that this month is loaded.
I'm already in the mood, as you can see.
But you're traveling. You know how to celebrate in Lagos.
Definitely, wherever I am, the celebration continues. It's the celebration resides in the air.
In the air.
Not just in the environment.
Okay, I hope you haven't forgotten that this month is my month of celebration.
Yes, sure. It's mine too.
Oh.
And I believe our viewers too.
And even the producer as well.
And even the producer himself.
So it's all December.
It's all over the place.
Okay, that's perfect. Mr. Bassi, the stars. You know, some children are born, you know, so different from others. And not anything particular done by their parents. It's just that they were given, you know, by God, the creation of creator of children, you know, like they were given to them. Some are just born with that touch of genius in them. Therefore, you saw the little girl, the Nigerian girl that won the mathematics competition, and was able to do some calculation within some seconds.
And it even defeated countries, people, other students from China,
you can imagine
USA.
You can imagine that.
And the margin was even much.
So much.
10 to 30 and 10. You can meaning a difference of 20.
Yeah. But being a genius, being a star, do they actually have other work they do, or they just rely on that because they are genius, they are stars, they don't do any other thing apart from, you know, we want to you work towards becoming this, but according to them, they are genius, they are stars. Do they need any further work or any further training to be able to enhance their stars, to make their stars known all over the world?
From my own angle, even stars actually need to exist. So even though they are gifted, they need to exist as stars. And what do I mean by existing as stars? That is manifesting. Because a star that fails to shine cannot be regarded as one.
You're right. And then you look at people, children.
Let me just do my explanation on that. So what I'm actually saying is that despite the fact that they are gifted, they still need to work. Just that they don't need to do anything extra. So that is what I mean by existing. They need to shine. Wow. So they need to exist as stars.
Even under the Morgan Kenyan system, he says something about the classification of stars under their luminosity. And then it tells you that stars varies in terms of glory and in terms of brightness. Thank you for that. In terms of brightness, in terms of glory. And do you quite agree with that?
Yes, there are gifts and there are gifts. And I think that is exactly where this issue of existing as stars come in. Because God gives the gift, but you need to manifest the gift.
You need to manifest.
You need to manifest the gift. Yes. So I don't think God gives the gift and also does the manifestation for you.
That's exactly.
Yeah. So and I think that is where the difference comes in. So we might be gifted as footballers, but the level at which you shine, I think it will depend a lot to your own efforts as to maximizing your potential.
So the level at which you shine will determine your little of your effort into it.
Yes.
But there are some that, you know, with little, okay, you said little effort. I think I was trying to look at zero effort.
No, definitely. I don't think even the stars in the sky, I don't believe that they just stay there and shine.
They have their own.
They exist. They have their own job to do. Okay, for instance, now I was listening to this star, if we could say that, who's in Bolt.
Okay.
He was being interviewed one of those days, and he said something that caught my attention. He said that the real work was behind the scene.
Behind the scene.
That is SCENE.
I get that.
Behind the scene. It caught my attention. So generally, we know that this guy is a star. But he opened his mouth to say that he was not just existing, that he was not just shining, that he was actually living, he was manifesting his stars, and that manifestation is, according to him, was as a result of what he does behind the scene, meaning the real job. So even as a star, I think you still have to work to manifest.
Do we have stars leaders, like you were born to be, you're a star in leadership, like born to be a leader?
Definitely. I think that stars exist in every firmament.
Okay.
Now, education, social aspect, the science
You have the star
aspect.
boy, whiskey, the star boy.
For instance, in the music industry. And this is what I think. I am thinking that no two stars are the same.
That's true.
So even if we exist on the same sky, we have our various uniqueness. We have those various areas that we actually outshine, that we outshine our counterparts.
That's why our uniqueness is very, very important and should be celebrated by every one of us. So the sky is big enough for every one of us to shine. Okay, that's pretty good. I think that's exactly what Mr. Bamidele was also trying to point out, but in a more in a more spiritual terms, in his book, The Birth of the Star.
Oh, The Birth of the Stars.
The Birth of the Star.
You
read the book.
I have my copy here.
You read the book.
Yeah.
So can you give me your take on the book first?
Yes, Pastor Bamidele did a fantastic job, a fantastic exposition on stars. As a matter of fact, he did what I could tag as spiritual allegory on the existence and the nature of stars.
Wow, that's true.
Nice job, I must say.
Okay, well, your book, the book in view. What do you think? And if I were to ask you to rate the book and give reason why you're rating the book, what will you give me? The mark and the reason behind the mark.
A lot of things to say. A whole lot of things.
Over 10.
Definitely, if I give over 10, the viewers might think I am being biased.
Because there's no perfect writer.
Yes. So the viewers might judge me if I say over 10. But I would love to. So it's around that area. Let me not mention, because if I say over 10, which I would love to, the viewers might say I am being biased.
Okay. Well, what are your reasons?
Yes. You see, I was led into a much more deeper understanding and insights on what stars is all about. For before I read this book, I've always been just taking stars as an aspect of nature, which I believe it is. Yes, but when I stumbled on this material, even the caption itself actually caught my attention. The birth of the stars. It got me curious. You understand? Stars born like
nature gave birth to stars up there in the galaxy, and then the human here gives birth to stars.
I got to get the natural aspect when I started reading, but Mr. Bamidele, the honorable pastor who gave us this gift, because this is a gift to this generation.
It is
a very powerful gift to this generation. So the man of God who helped us with this insight into the existence of stars, did it from the spiritual angle, taking its fruit from the natural existence and operation of stars.
So they need the natural thing to interpret the
spiritual. So he dwelt much on the spiritual significance of stars, using Jesus Christ, the hero,
the morning star,
the spiritual hero, the hero of all heroes, the man behind the celebration.
And you're talking because you're a Christian.
I am. But we see, even other religions do recognize this hero I am talking about.
Can we?
the man because of whom I am wearing this beautiful.
We are putting it on, not you alone. I have it. Even the producer has it on his head.
Yeah, but I said to recognize the significance because I'm mentioning it.
Okay. Go ahead.
So he did a fantastic job. The significance of stars, using Jesus Christ as a case study. So I've been able to learn so much, which I might be able to share parts, some of the insights I got with you and our viewers out there.
You know, when you mentioned Jesus and he was painting the picture, I think one of the things about this book is the fact that it was not religious. It was not religiously based. It was purely spiritual. And when we talk about spiritual, I mean it goes beyond the physical, the religion, and that's one thing I love about it. You were saying something about the stars before we venture into this. That some people, some persons, some children are born, with that uniqueness, to be so genius. So, in other words, when Christ Himself was born, according to what I read in the scripture, in the Bible, and what I was told growing up, the star, came up, and the readers of the stars, saw the brightness of that star. But there were other stars there, but that was what? More brighter. So it brings a perspective paint that picture that stars, like you rightly said, have levels. And to that level of shining kind of captured the attention of the three wise men. And they saw that this is unique, and this star is something different from every other stars, and they set out looking for the star to go honor him and see the star. And then you begin to ask, on their way going, they met, they went to see Aaron in order to get a perfect destination to where they're going, to see the baby where it was born. They went there and said that we're looking for so person that was being born in the king, and in the position of the star means something, a king is being born. And then Herod being the typical, the prototype of the devil himself, tried to kill. And then Pastor Bamidele paint Herod as not just Herod himself, but a metaphor to mean anybody, be it a religious leader, be it our leaders, be it even our parents, that try to kill the star in us. How do you see that?
Yes, the metaphor that our dear pastor painted here is not just religious, like you rightly said, it's spiritual. It's spiritual, and it goes to a very large extent to exposing the challenges that stars do face. Like you just mentioned, there might be anybody, might be some kind of politicians versus the younger politicians, the upcoming, if you say. In the music industry, it might be some established producers and the upcoming. In the football field, it might be some big names already versus the upcoming. You understand? So the man, Pastor Bamidele, did not just streamline his exposition of stars on the religious angle. So it's a book for everybody. You don't really need to be a Christian or a fan of Jesus Christ like myself before you would really need to go through this material.
Look at how he defined the star in page 46. Page 46. He defined the stars. Okay, you might want to open there. Page 46.
Sure.
You see, page 46. The way he defined the star. And I think that definition itself it's so captivating, and I love the fact that he defined it that way, where he says stars are spiritual navigators in the hours of darkness because of his glory. They are spiritual navigators. So when we talk about spiritual navigators, in other words, they are pace setters. They set the pace for others to follow. Do you kind of agree with that definition of star, according to him?
Generally, the star in the Bible that we know sets the pace. Yeah, the star, according to even what he exposed here, the star was what led the 3 wise men to the location where the owner of the star was born. So they set the pace, just as even the natural stars bring illumination. They illuminate the environment for the benefit of humanity. So I quite agree. I quite agree with him. I do agree with him. They are pace setters.
And then he went further to saying that they are God's messenger with heavenly compass of guiding God's people on the course and mark for them by God. I think I love that part. It actually captures the very essence, the very mandate of stars. I love that part. And then if you look at 47, he went further to defining, or rather bringing the different types of stars in their spiritual understanding. Because if you look at the natural world, you say we have 12 types of stars. I guess there are 12 types of stars. But here he gave us not up to 12 stars, but gave us 4 like that.
Yes.
Four
categories.
4 categories. He started with the falling stars.
Yes.
Then he went further to define the falling stars, and he gave us a bit about that. And then he went to the wandering stars. And then you look at the wandering stars, the falling stars, meaning that a star can fall. What will make a star fall?
A lot of things. Nature itself has a lot of things that can pull down stars. But from this context, I think that the inability or the ignorance of the person recognizing that he's a star can be the primary thing that can make him to fall.
That's a very good one. Knowing that you are a star.
You are a star. Can make you to fall. And I am really thinking or tempted to believe that this material is not just talking about some kind of very special human beings. I am really thinking that this material is, in a way, sharing with us that everybody is a star. So your own, what makes you a star is first your ability to discover that you are a star.
Know who you are.
Know who you are, that you are a star. So one wise woman once said that self-discovery is the beginning of self-recovery. So if you don't recognize that you are a star, it might make you not to take heed of how you live your life. And when you live your life in a way that is not in line to what can sustain your existence as a star, can make you to fall. Now, for instance, you might not have to be a star in the football on the football pitch. You might not be.
Sorry, I have to cut you there. I want to ask a very question before it escaped me. Do stars have their pattern?
Certainly, I once mentioned that everybody has his own uniqueness. Everybody has their uniqueness.
So if stars do have their pattern or do have pattern, then it simply means that each star comes with his own assignment or his own purpose.
That is exactly what I think. Every star has a mission. Of course, God is not a loafer. See, I have always described God as a good business person.
Obviously, he is.
He doesn't waste materials.
But others don't believe that there is God. What will you say as regard that?
That is the problem. That is the problem.
But it shouldn't be their problem.
Anyway, to enlighten them, yes, but it's not certainly supposed to be a problem to me. It's supposed to be my duty, not problem. I don't think
everything that calls for duty, obviously a problem to be solved. You don't think so?
Feyisara, let's believe it. Let's believe you have a point. What I'm saying is that it shouldn't give me headache. Okay. That you don't believe that there is God does not change the fact.
But on the more serious note, Mr. Alfred, I think that each religion has their own method of believing that this is God, there is God, and I wouldn't want to delve into what I want to say now because we are not into that. Perhaps one of the daily producer will permit us to talk of religion when we talk about that. But right now we'll dwell on Mr. Bamidele's book, this lovely book. Yeah. What about the wandering stars? Hey, like you said, you already affirm what I said, that each stars has their uniqueness and have their purpose, their method. Okay, so which means that there are people wandering around, there are stars wandering about. First, perhaps they don't know that they are stars, like rightly said, meaning that they are falling. Okay, perhaps they don't know that. Or secondly, they might have an idea that they are stars, but don't know what star they are, and what the stars that they are, or the star that they are, what is to do. That could be another reason that making it wondering. So Pastor Bamidele says something about that.
Yes, the almost. I was actually saying something before you came in with that unique input that you gave a few minutes ago. That you see. That you are not the person coming first in your class doesn't mean you are not a star. That you are not Lionel Messi or C. Ronaldo on the pitch of football doesn't mean you are not a star. That you are not an equivalent of Chinua Achebe does not mean you are not a star. Everybody has something very, very, very great that could be tagged a star in him or her. So your ability to actually manifest as a star first lies in your discovery that you are a star. Now, a lot of people live their lives based on imitation, based on what the world have fled for. Now, for instance, you see people going into music, for instance, simply because that environment seems popular, and some people go into some environments simply because it seems to be raking in a lot of money. So, but what I tell people is, see, you can't be me, you can't be Davido, you can't be Lionel Messi, you can't be Big Show, you can't be John Cena. You are you. I am who I am. Like God himself will say. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to take God's position, but I really like that God's description of himself. He is who he is. So
but don't you think that trending society can make one, delve into the star that is not?
That is exactly what I am saying. That the environment should not define you. You should define yourself.
In order not to be a wandering star.
In order not to be a wandering star. So you don't, because this person is doing this, because like you just mentioned a few minutes ago, every star has a mission to accomplish.
Exactly.
And I actually think that is why no two human beings on earth are exactly the same, even identical twins. Everybody has a mission, because God is not a waster of resources.
Exactly.
So when he has, now you see, I have this conviction that God delivers every human being because of a problem. Delivers every human being to earth, as in makes every human being to be born because of a problem. So meaning that every human being on earth has a problem he has been created to solve. And that area that he has been created to provide solution to is the area that he is shining as a star.
Supposing that person or that star in question didn't finish, didn't provide the solution to that thing, what happened before he dies or he or she dies? What happened to that part?
That should be the person's fault.
Well, I know.
Because God,
that problem will still be there.
Just allow me, give me some minutes to really do some background job of this. You see, if a person fails to fulfill his God ordained mission, it is the person's fault, not God's. Because you see, God wants his mission fulfilled, and he is always there to make sure that that mission is fulfilled. But you see, God is not like a good model for our politicians. He doesn't impose. He doesn't impose his way. So he gives you all it takes. He gives you all you need to do the job he has asked you to do. So if you take advantage of the provisions he has given you, surely there is nothing on earth, not even devil himself, can stop you from fulfilling God's mission, because that mission is even more important to him. That is God himself. It's more important to God than it is to you. Now it is in that area of your mission that you shine as a star. That is why I think that stars are not created for competitions.
I love that fact. Stars are not created for competition, but complementary.
Anyway, yes, complementing the missions of other people, of other stars. You know, one star does not rule the sky. Because if you do have only one star in the galaxy, in the sky, there won't be illumination.
Enough of it.
Enough illumination. So you need to shine. I need to shine. The other star needs to shine for us to provide something that could that could light up the world.
Yeah. Okay. Then lastly, as regards the types of stars, he said something about the shooting stars. Now, what he said about the shooting stars got me, kind of refreshed, because I when I saw the shooting stars, I was like, are you referring to the football team, the shooting stars? I don't know.
I
don't know.
I can't remember.
I remember watching Sheba on TV there. Though I was so little, I didn't even know it was the Sheba. It was when I grew up, and then that was Sheba that I watched there. Okay, so he said something about the shooting stars, and what he said about them is just that they were one shining. But suddenly, the stars went into dim, and then how possible is that? You once shine, and then it's possible, but what were the things responsible for that? Can you probably see that as pride? I actually had to pick pride, because I know they say pride. What's it called?
Comes before a fall.
Yeah. So.
Pride might be one of them, but like I mentioned earlier, what makes you to shine as a star, I think, is still responsible for what can make you to stop shining as a star.
That sort of paradox.
You understand? I got it. Like, if you know that you are a star in this field, your continued manifestation as a star still depends on your ability to retain that knowledge that you are a star, and that knowledge that you have of your own person as a star should make it impossible for you not to shine as stars, because you know you have a mission. You are not like every other person. You understand? So I think the very day your achievement gets into your head, and it makes you lose that understanding of yourself as a star, I think that is the day the downfall begins.
And that probably reminds me of a saying, wise, but okay, just let me don't do that. You know, I have these things, I have this thing that the more you start to shine, the more you start to shine, that's the period you have to get busy. You have to add more hard work to your work, more reading, more research. In fact, I do tell people that the hardest work on earth, the hardest work on earth is knowledge, to get knowledge. That's the hardest. Knowledge is the hardest one.
Let me cut in here. Like my dear Bishop David Oyodeko, one of his most sophisticated and inspiring quotes that I love so much. Daddy says that the day you stop reading, the day is the day you start dying. The day you stop growing is the day you start dying. The day you stop shooting is the day you start what? Dying.
No wonder that's shooting stars.
Thank you. So you don't, as far as you want to remain relevant as a star, you can't afford to stop. You have to keep on the pace. You see, for instance, if you throw an object into the sky, the very time it stops climbing is the very time it starts falling.
Exactly.
Because the rule of gravitation maintains that whatever goes up must come down.
Okay.
Meaning that if you don't want to come down, you have to keep on going up.
And that's hard work.
Yes.
More researching.
That is exactly where hard work comes in.
So in other words, hard work add more to the illumination of one stars.
Yes, my brother.
And the last one, he said the shining star. The shining star, they use it as they use Jesus Christ, like you said, as a prototype.